Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Flynn and I am the owner and maker of Flynn Sisters Boutique. And today I'm going to show you guys how to make cute little hair barrettes using epoxy resin. I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. One with acrylic blanks and the other with just a silicone mold. Both ways are pretty easy and both kind of have their pros and cons, but I love how both versions turned out and I hope you guys love this video. It was so much fun to do and I love making these little barrettes for my daughters. I'm going to have all the links for all the products that we use in this video listed down in the description box, along with a couple discount codes for you, of course. So that's enough chit chat for me. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first I'm going to show you guys how I make the barrettes with the silicone molds. This is the easier of the two methods. For this one, I have already mixed about 15 milliliters of epoxy, which ended up being way too much. Like 10 milliliters would be more than enough. And after I mixed my epoxy, I made sure it got pretty warm. You want to get it like somewhere around 85 degrees. You don't need to temp it. If you can feel that it's warm on the outside of your medicine cup, then it's good to go. The reason you want to get your resin like warm before you add your glitter is so that the glitter stays suspended in the glitter rather than all sinking to the bottom of the mold. So I'm adding between like an eighth of a teaspoon of like an eighth and a quarter teaspoon of glitter, maybe, if I had to measure it. It's just enough to cover the whole surface of the glitter or the epoxy in the medicine cup. And then I'm going to carefully stir it in. Once you've got your glitter all stirred in, it's ready to pour in the mold. Before I pour my glitter resin into the mold, I'm just going to do a quick spritz of 91% rubbing alcohol. You could use like 99% rubbing alcohol too if you wanted to use that instead. And just a really light spritz into my mold, okay? And then I'm just gonna pour in my glitter. You don't want to pour in too much, but you also don't want to pour in too little. So just take your time with this. And I use my little stir stick here to kind of help me scoop up any little pieces that got stuck on the side of that mold. You want to get everything in there nice and neat. And then to help get these bubbles out, I kind of like to slap my mold against the table a bit. It's just going to help those bubbles rise out of my resin. And then I'm going to also spritz the top of it with rubbing alcohol again. So just one or two light sprays of rubbing alcohol is good. And you'll see some of the bubbles start to rise to the top. Again, I'm just kind of like slapping it against the table, and then I'll go over the top of it with like my barbecue lighter just to pop those surface layer bubbles. And you're gonna want to let this sit for at least 24 hours before you demold your piece. So once you're past that 24-hour mark, we're just gonna pull it out of the molds. They come out super easy and it's so satisfying. This is my favorite part of making things in my molds. So anyway, we're just gonna pull these out. They look beautiful. That glitter is just stunning. And I'm gonna take a pair of scissors and I'm gonna, like a sharp pair of scissors, I'm just going to trim off any kind of like dangly bits that got stuck on there. You can use your craft knife to cut these off as well. I just think the scissors are easier and safer. And you don't want to cut too far into the piece, obviously, but just, you know, trim off any kind of dangly bits that don't look good. So once we've got that all trimmed up and looking nice, I'm going to get these ready to apply the clips to the back. Now, I'm going to say that this step is probably overkill. However, I have two girls and I have a lot of bows and I have a lot of hair clips, and nothing drives me more crazy than when they break. So I like to sand the backs of these pieces where I'm going to be gluing my barrette, just as an extra precautionary measure to make sure that that glue adheres really well. I'm going to be using E6000 glue, and using the sharp end of my little jewelry picker thing, I'm just going to get a bead of glue and run that along the back of my piece here. You don't want to put too much, just a good amount, maybe like a pea-size amount of glue, and spread that evenly around the back of your piece. And then we'll just stick on our alligator clip. Now, these alligator clips I just found on Amazon. I think they're just like steel. I don't think they're stainless steel, but they're pretty nice. Once you've got the barrettes on there, you're gonna want to leave these face down to dry for a good couple hours. I would even say let them dry overnight before you actually use them, to make sure that that glue is fully dried. And that's it for this one. So super simple. I really like using the mold to make these because it's a really easy process. All right, and so for these little purple ones, I thought it would be super cute to add some of these little skull rhinestones that I got from diamondfirerhinestones.com. I will have a link down below on where you can find these. I got these in my box from Simply Sarah's, the little Halloween box that I reviewed a couple weeks ago, and I just am obsessed with them. I thought they were so cute. So I'm just gonna add one to these little barrettes using some E6000 glue. And using my jewelry picker, I'm just going to add a small amount of glue and just put the rhinestone right there. Just one for like a little simple detail that I thought was so cute. I'm just absolutely obsessed with these. Okay, next I'm going to show you guys how I do the acrylic ones. I'm using these little acrylic bars that I got from Zindy.com. They do have a hole in them because I think they're meant to be used as like a charm or jewelry or something, but I can work with that hole, don't worry about it. And you know, I'm sure if we asked them, they probably could make ones without holes, or if you know somebody who makes these acrylic shapes, it would be super easy to do. Anyway, I'm just removing the backs off of these. They have a protective sheet on both sides. You just want to remove one side at a time. Once I get that side removed, I am going to scuff it up a little bit with my sanding block. This is probably overkill, but again, I just really like to make sure my surfaces are properly prepped so that everything adheres as it should. I'm going to clean that up with some rubbing alcohol, and then I am just going to use some permanent printed vinyl. This is patterned vinyl that I also got at Zindy.com. There are tons of patterns to choose from. I would definitely recommend using a permanent vinyl for these, just because while we are going to seal it in, the edges won't be completely sealed in, so you'll want to use a good quality vinyl for this. Also, when you buy these shapes, they are going to come with a pre-sized cut file for your Cricut or your Silhouette or whatever cutting machine you use, and you should absolutely use those shapes. However, I am lazy and I didn't want to get my Cricut going for this project, so I just slapped a scrap piece of vinyl over that and then trimmed it along the edges with my craft knife. If you are not comfortable with using an X-Acto knife and you're afraid of cutting yourself or something, then probably not a good idea to do it this way, but I just figured this is such a tiny piece, and so whatever. This is just how I did it. It was super quick and simple to do. Also, I wanted to make sure that I got my vinyl from edge to edge, which you still would with the cut file. Like I said, I was just lazy and didn't want to get my Cricut going for this project, so But here we are. You're just going to run your knife along the edges if you're going to be doing it this way. It's really simple to get a nice clean edge by just running your knife along the edge and the vinyl there. And then once I got that all trimmed up, I was ready to put the epoxy resin over the top. So I've just got a small piece of cardboard here and some painter's tape, and I'm going to stick my pieces to face up to this cardboard piece, and this is just going to help me maneuver my pieces while I'm applying the resin. I've already got some epoxy mixed up here. You're really not going to need that much, not even like 5 milliliters for this. And I'm going to use my little silicone tool and like brush on my epoxy, and you want to make sure that you get it edge to edge. You want to get this fully coated. Sometimes the epoxy will have a tendency to pull away from the edges, so you'll just want to kind of take a look at it in good lighting, make sure you have your glasses on, and make sure that you've really got those coated edge to edge. I did come back like 5 minutes later and put some more on because I noticed it had pulled away from the edge a little bit. So once I've got those fully coated, you're going to want to let those dry for at least 12 hours or whatever the full dry time is on your epoxy before you remove those and apply your barrettes. Now, I also wanted to show you an alternative idea for these acrylic blanks if you didn't want to use patterned vinyl on these. This is how I would do it with glitter. So I already put some like just plain colored vinyl over my blank. Again, you don't have to do this, but I'm just doing it because I'm extra. I also wanted to cover up that hole, so that's why I have the red vinyl down there. And I'm mixing a little bit of glitter with about 5 milliliters of epoxy here. Very, very small amount of glitter. And I'm just going to paint the glitter and epoxy onto the top of my blanks here, just like I did with the patterned vinyl. And you really, again, want to make sure that you get it from edge to edge. Okay, and so once these are dry, I just pull them off of my cardboard pieces here, and then I'm going to remove the other protective backing sheet that was on the other side. I'm also going to clean up any resin that might have cured to the side of my pieces with a craft knife. Okay, and so once those are all cleaned up and ready to go, I'm going to apply the barrettes to the back of these in the same way that I applied them with the ones that I made out of the mold. So I'm just roughing up the back really quick with my sanding block. I'm going to clean it up with some rubbing alcohol, and then I've got my E6000 glue ready to go, and I'm just going to apply that to the back of my piece and put my clip on. Alright, and so that's about it for this tutorial. I showed you guys how to make the barrettes with the molds and how to do it with the acrylic blanks. And in conclusion, I would say that the acrylic blanks are great for using patterns and the molds are great for using just glitters and things. I think both looked super cute. I had so much fun with this project. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Thank you so much for watching my video, and we will see you on Saturday. If you love this video, you could check out our last video here. Also be sure to find us on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course subscribe for all our new videos that come out every Wednesday and Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.